people worked for their goals as hard as they envy others for achieving them, they would already have achieved them themselves. So think about the amount of mental effort that goes into the hate that people spew out, the envy for wanting other people's stuff. I'll give you a couple hard truths about this. Number one, no one is doing as well as you think they are. So by comparison, you're actually better off than you think. Number two, you don't win by beating people. You win by growing into your potential and then allowing them to shrink into irrelevance by consequence. Three, and guess what? Your biggest threat is not your competition. It's a mediocre version of you that never realized what you could become. And as pithy as that may sound, it's also true, right? A lot of people think it's like, oh, that guy's doing really well. It's like, his doing well changes nothing about your reality. Something really ironic that I noticed is that people who get copied the most by their competition are the people who ignore the competition who are copying them. Fundamentally, you start by focusing on the customer, and if you always put the customer first, everyone will copy you because you're actually doing the thing that will work, which is focusing on the customer. And there's a lot of weird things in life like that, where like, it's the opposite is what you'd think. Like, oh, I'm gonna look at what everyone else is doing. It's like, no, just do what matters most, and then people who don't know how to think will just copy you. The real threat is that no one copies you at all because you're doing nothing. If you take all this effort that you put into comparing yourself to other people, that you look to kind of like tearing them down sometimes, even in your mind, let's be real, maybe you don't say it to other people, but in your mind you're like, whatever that is, whatever that feeling is, just do that towards you not being good enough. What happens is that when you do that, all of that effort, all that energy goes into improving yourself rather than tearing down somebody else. And only one of those things will help you. Number three, ignore critics. Now, this is probably easy to say, hard to do. So let me break this down a little bit more. So, friendly reminder that most people are fat, poor, pansies. Don't listen to them when they try to deter you from doing whatever it takes to succeed. So the average person will always try to keep you average. It makes sense that if you want to be extraordinary, you will do things that an ordinary person would see as extra, right? And so a lot of people, and this is the really hard part that I had to come to terms with, is that a lot of people want to see you fail because it justifies the risk that they chose not to take. We always have to think about listening to the people who are closest to our goals, not closest to us. And if you want a more violent version of this, your critics are going to eventually die. And their opinion isn't going to matter then, which means it probably also doesn't matter now. So might as well do what you wanted to do originally. 12. This is a big one. Don't give away your power. Now, this sounds very like, girl power or a little like rah-rah, but I will break this down in a little bit less rah-rah way. So what offends you controls you. Whatever you point your finger of blame towards is what also you point your power towards. Meaning, we talked about excuses earlier. I can't do it because insert X. Insert X is the thing that has power over your life. And I remember when I realized this was that I had this belief that I would never be able to be in a long-term committed relationship because my mother had hurt me as a child. I didn't get enough hugs. Who gives a shit? Whatever. But I realized that by using that excuse and by saying it's her fault, I'm broken. It's her fault, I can't trust people. It's her fault, I can't love anybody. By saying that over and over again, all I did was I said, my mother controls how my love life will go. Ooh, heavy. Real. Well, I don't want her to have control over how I choose to love or not love or how content I get in a relationship or anything like that. So I actively had to say, maybe all these things happened, maybe they didn't. Also, who cares? Me, I care. I'm the one who's affected by this. And what's crazy about this, it's kind of a weird thing with like parents, is that you think by hurting yourself, you get back at them for hurting you. And you do hurt them when you hurt yourself, but you hurt you more. At some point, and this is like super real. Let's say that you were parented tough, whatever that means for you. You had lots of bad things happen. Okay, and it was probably because you were a child trying to deal with the world without the skills of dealing with the world as an adult. But you had these things happen, right? And on some level, you might believe that you becoming successful, you making it work, validates the way that you were parented. And so you have this conflict where you're like, well, I don't want them to think that they did a good job by me being successful. And so then you want to keep not being successful to prove to them and to hurt them for hurting you. And you stay there as long as you want them to control you. And so the day that you choose to control yourself is the day that you choose to divorce your results from the very viable reasons that you have to not win. You are right, and so what? It's a weird thing to want a permission slip for mediocrity, which is fundamentally what excuses are. You just want permission from everyone else to still get respect without the outcome because of your extenuating circumstances. And the thing is there's a ton of allure, but the only person who actually believes that is you. People might nod along. The people who love you might say, yeah, you know what? You are special. You are a special snowflake. Your mama might still love you. But you're not going to earn anyone's respect. And I think you certainly won't earn the respect of the person that matters most, which is you. Because you'll always know that you could have done more, that you could have done better. That's the one that keeps me up. I have a saying that I tell myself a lot when I'm doing something that I don't want to do. And it's, I will do what is required. It's not about doing your best. It's about doing what's required, because what's required might be better than your best is right now. But the good news is that your best can get
People
better.
only root for people who don't need it. Like the amount of times when I was on my lonely path where I was too different from the friends that I had, but not successful enough to be friends with the people that I wanted to be friends with. That's when you want people to root for you. That's when you want people to support you. Once you've already won, people are like, he's amazing, he's so good. But that's the time when you need it the least. And so you always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does. And it's usually a single clap in the auditorium for a very long period of time. It is a slow clap that's just you rooting for you. And that visual, I think, is one that you can kind of take, because it is, people struggle to do things alone. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. And rather than fighting that or bemoaning it, see it as an indicator that you're on the right path. Because if everyone else were cheering you on, then it means you're not in the right place, because it means you're just like everyone else, and that's not where you want to be.